Number 1. Which table of values shows a linear function? And I know that by definition, a linear function must have a constant rate of change or a slope that is constant. My pen is coming out of the holder, sorry. Constant rate of change. That is what causes linearness or in a line. So what I want to do is look at what's happening between the input and output values for each of these tables of values. In other words, I want to know the one that has a constant rate of change in this yellow interval. So to do that, we're going to look at this first one. I know if I put 1 in and I get 1 out, that there is no change. If I put 2 in and get 2 out, there is no change. So this one is looking like it could be the constant. But then I get to this one. To get from 3 to 5, I have to add 2. And at that point, I can tell you that this is not constant. So therefore, this is not a linear function. In this one, you would be adding 3 to get the output. So it is not A. On this one, I would be doing 2 minus 1 to get to 1. And for minus 2, 6 minus 1 and 8 minus 1 would give me 7. So this is not constant, and therefore it is not linear. In this one, I would be adding 3. Here I would be, not adding 3, subtracting 3. Here I would be subtracting 2. Here I would be subtracting nothing. And here I would be adding 2. So this is definitely not constant. It is not the same in that yellow interval. On D, here I would be adding 2, adding 2, adding 2, adding 2. This one is linear. It is constant in the rate of change. So I think it's D. But let's check E just to be sure. In my experience with these types of problems, usually it's going to be one of the last 2 choices, because they want me to test them all before I make a decision. So I would always, on a time test, I would start with the last option on this kind of question. And usually that saved me a little bit of time. Instead of having to work the first 3 to get to D, I could get there a little quicker. Be careful on this one. Some students think this is constant because there's a pattern. You've got plus 3, plus 4, plus 3, plus 4. There's a pattern, but it's still not a constant rate of change. For it to be constant, you have the same situation in each input-output. So like D, you're adding 2 all the way through. And so the answer to this one is D as in delta. That is your linear function.